Hey, Naomi and friends. It's Paul Siti Harina with the SHC, Functional Nutritional Therapy and Health Coaching. And as promised, I wanted to give you a little bit of a sneak peek and outline of what we'll be covering in our first talk on preparedness and self-reliance. Number one, okay, this is not the one that has the bags, but there's plenty of great info in this. Thank you for the opportunity, by the way. I love my life. I love doing what I do, and I love branching out into these areas that I feel like are so important for so many people. And I feel like one of my skills, if not the main and most beneficial, most important skill that I have, is simplifying things down to what it is that you need to know and do. I've been doing that with health and nutrition and fitness for 10 years now, and I have the same intention with preparedness. I am not one of the nation's or world's top preparedness experts. But if you look at all the information out there, it's unbelievable. It's overwhelming. It's daunting. It really is. So I have this gift to be able to go through. I've been working on it for years now. I work with a lot of cohorts and friends. I've learned from a lot of great sources. I have this gift to simplify things down into something that's very easy to understand and very easy to do, relatively easy to do. And of course, we have checklists and things like that to keep people on track. So I'm just going to glance through a few things here because the whole talk is going to be so great. 45 minutes of power, and we'll have some time for some open discussion. I do start out emphasizing, why this is important because we know health is one of the keys to happiness, but we also would argue that, having your wealth in order and then being prepared for the unknown contributes to this feeling. It's hard to explain, but I just would consider it happiness. Um, so this is a general preparedness outline. We covered this in our little pre-screening talk not too long ago. These are things that eventually we want to cover. And then we have what we'll be covering in the talk coming up in mid-September, starting out with reasons to be prepared. So we just make a very good argument for, not looking at this as being pessimistic or doomsday scenario. This is really just being extremely realistic about things that could happen, and they do happen all the time. So we will bring up, how recent history isn't normal, the success of America. I remember when I was younger, the 1980s and on, America was the land of the free and the greatest, and you invest in the stock market, and no matter what happens, it's all going to work out great. And we're seeing things change now. We've got news situations that we'll bring up, relatively current events, again, very relevant to everyone, water supply contamination, food scarcity, raising prices. I don't know if you've seen Ray Dalio's Changing World Order video. I just thought it was amazing. And he talks about how all the great empires have these cycles, and it seems like the U.S. has had its time in the sun, and looks like things are kind of starting to dwindle away in some ways, So, and again, that's not being pessimistic; it's being very realistic and just acknowledging what's happening around us. And we also talk about realistic, unexpected things you can prepare for, everyday things, car accidents, medical problems, frozen pipes, water going out. Being prepared is going to help you in these different situations. Okay. Um, then we talk about getting your health and wealth in order. And so health is my specialty. I'll touch a little bit on our different foundations for health, which include real food, functional fitness, sleep, having social connections, having a daily practice or quiet time or meditation, and then connecting with nature. I won't spend a whole lot of time on here because we've already done a couple of talks, but I just will emphasize how important it is. And I also talk about why wealth is important. And again, I am not a financial advisor, don't claim to be, but I have a couple of little tips, books I've read, some things that I know that have helped me a lot. Would definitely seek professional advice. And I think you guys said that you're having some talks along those lines anyway. So that will be very generic, not making any advice or recommendations from a financial perspective. The biggest part of this is going to be getting your home ready for 2 weeks of resilience. And that's where we'll go through the different categories of things that you want to have in your home in addition to 2 weeks of food and 2 weeks of water. Okay, so that's going to be the bulk of the talk. And then finally, we'll finish with how to connect with emergency alerts, both on your phone with some different apps. FEMA and Red Cross are two of my favorite ones, but then also maybe having a weather radio available. And then also for evacuation purposes, having a neighborhood meeting place. I'll go through some examples of how to do that. Have a city or a location outside of your city along every main route, and just knowing what those are and where those are, and having that as part of your communication plan, I think is very useful, for a family or a small group of people. So we'll talk about how to do that. And then we'll go into our emergency communication plan, which is a document, again, that I've put together, simplified. We've got a PDF and a fillable PDF, and I think it has just about everything that you could possibly want and not a whole lot of extra junk, okay? And then finally, we've got safeguarding critical documents and valuables, another great homework assignment. And this is making sure that you have some copies of the most important things in one spot so that it's easy to grab and go. And you're not struggling to find these things if you happen to have some kind of a disaster that forces you out of your home or something along those lines, right? And we talk about how to protect those with a USB drive, fireproof bags. But again, the goal here is to educate, to inspire, to motivate, and then also to simplify so that people do not feel overwhelmed with this information. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Again, I'm at your service. Looking forward to it. It's going to be freaking amazing. And I think that's about all I got. If you got any questions, let me know.